Greetings everyone, this is Angrade here with another tournament replay along with...
What's up, guys? This is Oreos here.
I need to work my intros, my apologies. Out spawn top right side as the red British, we have OutlawElite, and spawn bottom left side as the blue Japanese, we have Oreo, who is my co-caster for today.
Yeah, it's a interesting matchup here. I'm playing as the Japanese, and Outlaw here is playing as British. Kind of an interesting matchup. What are your thoughts on this one?
Let's see, it all depends how the decks are built. The British tends to go for a bit more heavy either musketeers or longbowmen, and depending what he deploys out, the Japanese player could counter, and not uncommon for Japanese side to go for Yumi archers or Ashgar musketeers. So a similar build order plays out both sides can field, but slightly differences like manors versus shrines, things that sort.
Yeah, quite the classic matchup. I mean, everybody remembers seeing this all the way back through TAD, so it's definitely been played a million times before. Personally, I'm not too familiar with Japan. It's a civ I've been trying to learn, so I wasn't too familiar going into this game with the matchup, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yep. Do you want to give any explanations of how you design your deck?
I'd say this is a pretty standard Japanese deck. You have adaptations for water here, obviously. The 2 Foons and the 2 Age-free ships as well. And then the 3 fishing ships, 5 fishing ships is just basically better than 4-vil, 5-vil, or 2-vil, 4-vil, sorry, for Japan.
Yep. Let's see, let's take a look at the British deck. And we got a deck named Smalls. Looks like standard British. We got longbowmen, musketeers, the Scots Scholars, Team Grenadier Guards. As well as mixing perhaps Hussars, can see as well with cavalry combat cards.
Interesting that we do see heavy fortifications there in H4. That's not a very standard card to see in most people's deck.
Yep. And usually, if you do see that card, they tend to go for perhaps like the infinite ×2 outpost cards, or maybe the ×3 outpost card in Age 3. Yeah, not even 4 cards, I just realized as well.
I believe we just had a treasure contention there, if I remember correctly.
I was not paying attention to that treasury. I was looking at the deck. My apologies. Oh, either way, when it comes to natives and map, got the Huron settlement. It does include the Huron mantlets, which are, well, a mantlet variant. A nice beefy siege unit for people to utilize. As of course, another native unit on the map are the sheep.
I believe this map can also sometimes spawn with Cree natives as well, but we did get the Huron spawn.
Crees, they have the rifleman skirmisher variant, don't they?
Yeah, that is correct.
The British player is aging up with the governor, and the Japanese player is aging up with the Tory gates. I never know if I really should just treat you as a, if you're going to talk in third person or first person, or how we should sort of cover this.
I think I'm just gonna let you take the reins here, and I will provide kind of what I was thinking at the time and what I think just how the matchup should generally play out.
Looks like the British player's outpost is being pushed forward. He will spot the consulate and a barracks here. The outpost will be next to the trading post site. One of the Japanese monks do smoke bomb away, and the consulate should be completed soon. Do we see the... Yeah, we do see the diplomatic intrigue card. Not researched just yet. And I have a good feeling maybe you'll be going for the Japanese isolation, because usually that's a bit more the aggressive allies to go with the consulate. Outpost taking some damage. The free samurai here offers good torch damage, so should be able to displace the outpost. A shipment of grenadiers, or not grenadiers, musketeers on the way.
Yeah, I was really hoping that I could get this outpost down with that samurai. If I had executed this build a little bit cleaner, looking back on it now, I think I actually could have got this outpost down. Just shows you that those little tiny things that you do in Age 1 and going into Age 2 really do matter, because 92 HP, I definitely could have got this outpost down if I was just like 5 seconds sooner, and then these 6 musks wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be in the position I am now.
Yep, and 92 health is what? 3 torches from the samurai. Got around the Ashgar musketeers on the field. Get a good volley on each other, but looks like the Ashgar musketeers' course can't be reinforced, while the British musketeers can't with the lack of shipments. He is deploying around the musketeers back here, and we already got around the longbow in the field. Japanese, I know it's Japanese isolation has been put on the field, but nothing's being shipped. Oh, we do actually have the shinobi. And looks like we're gonna go straight for the outpost. 1 volley torches was not enough. 3 health remaining.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that outpost down so I didn't have that shipment point right under the forward base here, and the 30 damage from the outpost sieging me down.
You get your shinobi on the field. They're better at range than at melee in this situation. And they're getting hit. Got another round of musketeers. Get a good volley onto the longbowmen, which are more or less a soft counter to the heavy infantry. One more shinobi on the field. We've got around a shipment of Ashgar musketeers and the daimyo deployed on the field. Daimyo, since he is classified as a heavy infantry, or not heavy infantry, heavy cavalry, he should be able to engage the longbow a bit more of ease, just gotta keep away from the musketeers. Both from the bayonet and their guns. And right now, the British player has put out quite a bit of force.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic here. This build I went for is all about early tempo and early pressure, but the British player is actually managing to out-tempo me early and out-pressure me with no forward racks at my forward base, so that's not what I wanted to see this game at all.
At this point in time, probably the best if you just to abandon these structures and rebuild new ones back, because I don't think you can save these ones. Does get a couple. You get a couple good volleys and take out a couple of the units. Musketeers being picked off one at a time, but the daimyo Mototada is taking some severe damage.
Yeah, that was intentional, actually, by me. I just wanted to use the daimyo to tank here and get some free shots here with my Ashi. I overstayed my welcome a little bit here, but if I had left right before this, right after I got those couple units, I would have gotten about 5 units for a little bit of my daimyo's health, and he does regenerate over time as he's standing still, so.
Yep. Yeah, it is a gamble, but it looks like it did pay off. But he is also your only barracks, you could say, at the moment as well. Going for a round of Ashgar Musketeers shipment. Bring the last pair of those. Or less satisfied.
Yeah, something I do wish I had done earlier is I wish I would have. I replayed this game after we played this series immediately because I just wanted to know why I lost this. But I wish I had shipped those 2 boats to that forward pond right when he had that first batch. In those first engagements, those 2 boats would have been huge.
Yep, to buy some shore bombardment.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have even lost the forward base, honestly.
Got a good number of Ashgar Musketeers. They will be excellent versus the pikemen, but they will have trouble versus the longbowmen. Primarily due to their range. Their bonus damage is not too significant. It's their range is the big problem with the longbowmen. And we do have a round of irregulars and a round of more musketeers. Maybe a round of Naginata riders wouldn't be half bad, help deal the longbow. It's just that pikemen, of course, a good counter to them.
Yeah, do you want to go over to the British perspective here?
Yep.
Just to kind of show the difference in eco. He is on 42 vills compared to my 31.
Oh yeah, now you mentioned that, yeah, he must got a little bit of a mana boom going. Let's see, he does have 14 out of 20 at the moment, so he managed to squeeze out a good number of them.
Yeah, and I'm not on many shrines myself personally. I think I have 7 at this point, so
And now he's
British
also,
is now aging up.
yep, aging up the adventurer, which does give him, what, 6 longbowmen, if I remember correctly?
I believe it's 7. It's been a while since I've played British, but I don't think they've changed that.
I'm just horrible at memorizing all the politicians. A lot of different effects, to say the least.
Yeah, and they change everything quite often, so it's hard to kind of keep up with everything.
Of course, have a round of shrine wagons being shipped on in. Village queuing up. British player almost have a shipment, or now has a shipment available, so maybe a pair of falconets would be best for him. And bad for you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting decision by Outlaw here to go Pike, bow. I don't really like making pikemen personally in this matchup. They just don't really do a whole lot.
Yep.
I think
Yes, sir.
musketeers are going to be a lot better option because they're going to do well against everything that Japan's going to make. Whereas pikemen are really only good against Nagi and are difficult to micro, I would say.
Yeah. They do offer good torch damage as a good consolation prize for going them. I've always mentioned pikemen. It always feels weird at the fact that their melee damage is 8 compared to, say, Ashgar Musketeers' melee attack is 11. So even just heavy infantry and musket infantry does better melee than the melee unit.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind though, pikemen have those really high multipliers. 5x versus cav is equivalent to like 40 damage, where if you check a musk, I think it's like 36 or something like that with their multiplier.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah, approximately 36. But also, musketeers just have a gun. But it looks like there's a bit of a free volley there on the musketeers. Pikemen pushing way forward, drawing some fire, but it does also mean the Naginata riders can engage the longbowmen as well as a handful of musketeers. Round of musketeers. Most of the British musketeers have gone down, and all the pikemen have gone down, which leaves the Naginata riders a good possibility to do some good damage onto these longbowmen. Heals off a couple of them to hit the falconets because they pose a massive threat. He will get one of the falconets, the other one does get saved. And the longbowmen still here in good numbers. Another round of shinobi, which are light infantry. They won't receive the bonus damage from the longbowmen. And another round of fishing boats. Veteran pikemen, veteran musketeers, longbowmen. See veteran longbowman? Yes, we do. So he's getting all of his veterancy.
Yeah, kind of a rough spot for me at this point here. I can't really age or I'm going to lose my base, and I did lose basically my whole mass, which is not what you want to see in that sort of situation. When your opponent ages up and you're stuck in age 2 and you've been massing, you really kind of have two options. You can either smash everything in like I just did and try and get a really good trade while your opponent has less mass because they just spent all their resources to age, or you can pull back and try and age yourself, but then you're kind of putting yourself on the back foot. And I chose door number 1, and I didn't really get an amazing trade. I did manage to catch a falcon almost kill the second one as well, but
Yep.
just not in a good position for me now, and it's really Outlaw's game to win or lose at this point.
Yep. Knocking out riders on a square formation moving around. I would say it'd probably be good to, with our castle vision, go around, but there's also a handful of pikemen, which can cause some issues.
Yeah, I was trying to get out of the base, go raid, and try and maybe see if I could get him to fall into the trap of chasing me around the map and buy myself some time, but he went for the push right as I was trying to get out of there, so...
Yep. One way to keep your opponent from attacking is, well, to make him defend from the raids, but in this case, attacking is the good choice for the British. Longbow are hitting the town center, which they have poor siege damage. Pikemen, of course, have pretty good siege damage, 38 siege damage at veteran level. And did find a couple hits there on some of the Naginata riders. Got the sentries deployed on in, some emergency sentries, but we've got now a big wave of pikemen deployed on out. That can make short work of various structures. Japanese player does have one shipment available. And I don't know what card you should go for. Let's see, how's your Chariot Orchards doing?
I just shipped 2 new ones, so they're both fresh.
Yep, but also a little bit exposed. This may sound like a bad idea, but ship the Cherry Orchards in there to get more of a safer location to gather them from. Musketeers get some hits. Pikemen, if they just start torching down the town center, really help with the progression of that. A fresh pair of Falconets on the field, and now Hussars as well. Hussars just been there for the mobility and engage the Naginata riders. And looks like the Japanese player has back to the game. On to the next replay. Give me one moment. I need to update the scoreboard.
Yeah, really good. Really well played game by Outlaw there. He saw my aggression and managed to out-aggression me in my own game. So very well done by him, and good game.
On to game number 2. And here we are with game number 2, in which... I don't know why it's always a bug of replay where sometimes just makes it go really fast. Looks at this map, everybody starts off a dock wagon, so both players will start off docks. And let's go ahead and introduce. Top left side, we got the blue Incan Oreos, and it's on the bottom right side as the red Germans, OutlawElite.
Let me just say that I love this map as an Inca player. This is my favorite map to play this civilization on, for sure. Really strong map for Inca, in my opinion.
What makes it strong for the Incans?
So Inca benefits really heavily, I think, from water play, and the spawning with an extra dock, or with a dock wagon on this map is really nice for Inca, because you can just build one house and you get 400 wood crates at the start, so you can make one cancer house for 170 and then spend the rest of your wood on fishing boats, and you can get like I think it's an 18 villa age up at an even faster time than normal. The treasures are really nice as well, and the natives are exceptional for Inca as well.
Yep, I see you got Gunman. He specializes having gun. 36 damage is pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Better than Musketeer damage. But only 10 range. Shouldn't make too big of an issue.
I think that Gunman actually does more damage to Treasure Guardians than my Explorer.
Yep, let's see. Only has minus multipliers. The War Chief has a ×3 multiplier, which is 18. but twice attack speed, it's about the same.
Yeah, it's the same DPS, which is crazy. So you're basically converting another explorer's worth of DPS right at the start of the game.
That can be quite nice. Quickly claim all the treasures. Just curious of what other treasure gardens we have on the map. We got a bear. We do have Pumbaa here to claim from. Trying to see what other guys can convert. Let's see, already got a Kelfit, and looks like the scout draws fire first from the deserted pikeman. Since the shock scout is less important than, say, the treasure guardian.
The reason I did that was treasure guardian's better in ranged attack than melee, so I wanted him attacking from range versus the Chasqui just always melees. So
yep, looks like 15 damage as opposed to 7 times 2, which is 14. Slight difference.
hey, like we saw last game, those very slight differences matter. If I had taken down that outpost and been 5 seconds quicker, I might have won that last game.
Yep. And not to mention, not only the samurai, but also the second round of musketeers, where a volley of torches left that outpost at 3 health. Let's see, 1v1 water. Looks like you have... Let's see, what's this card? Salt ponds, villagers, fishing boats, and rafts gather faster. Got some economic cards mixed on in. As well as a number of the Chinka rafts, or however you pronounce that. But you also have this card here, Offshore Support, which does provide... I really don't know all the Navy cards off the top of my head. Warships add increased range, huh? That can be useful.
Range and damage. I believe it's Chincha Raft is how it's pronounced. Chat can probably correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that looks like Chin-cha, if I'm my bad ways of understanding words. I butcher every single word possible, so just be careful of that. And it looks like we got 2 gunmen. Let's see. Maybe a fast fortress deck for the German player with the coin shipments.
Yeah, honestly, a relatively standard-looking German deck. He's got the cards where he can either play H2 or free, but we know Germany does like to go for that kind of semi-FF or straight FF type of play, so we'll see what Outlaw chooses to do here. But another thing I like about this map is by the time you're H2, you basically have a small little army. I mean, I've got 6 units on the field already, and I haven't even made a military building, so it's pretty nice for Inca.
Yep. And over here, we do have the barracks going on up, while I just eyeing a round of some sort of defense against this. Don't need too much. Of course, that means invest into a small defense force while you got yours for free. We also got some plumed spearmen on the field, which, seeing how Germans get the free Uhlans, a handful of spearmen would not hurt against them.
Yeah, I know this matchup quite well. Inca is one of my main civilizations, so I figured that he would be going for kind of a semi-FF, and as Germany, you really want to control the trade post line here, so I popped that big button for the 5 spearmen upon aging up just so I could get these trade posts down really quickly and kind of deny him that XP curve so he can't get all those juicy shipments in age free like 9 Ulan, 8 Ulan, and the skirmisher shipments.
Yep. And the mercenary skirmishers and the Jaegers. Yeah. Though Jaegers and skirmishers may be a little less impactful, since while the only heavy infantry you apply to plow the field are the plumed spearmen. But we got around a crossbowman in Uhlans now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly kind of think that this is a little bit of an overreaction here by Outlaw. I'm not really looking to do a whole lot of damage with this army here. If you look at my resources, I am actually just getting up.
Yep.
It's the power of the map. I'm already in the fortress age with 30 villagers at 640, which is insane. But I think these crossbows is a little bit of an overreaction. It does look like Outlaw is going to be committing to an H2 play here.
Yeah. I'm never really big fan of crossbow play. It's maybe just me because they're not really a hard counter to heavy infantry, and around a what's called chimney runners would probably be best help deal with it, being shock infantry.
Yeah, Chimney Runners could probably wipe this whole army right now. I think that is what I'm shipping, yeah. 9 Chimney Runners coming on the way.
Got around pikemen, which of course they will do bonus damage for the chimney runners. And we do have a forward barracks being pulled in the field. He's trying to close out the game sooner rather than later. And got the market going up. One shipment's almost available for the German. Just needs 0 more experience. And bring in 5 Uhlans. There's chimney runners. They're not upgraded just yet, nor are they being upgraded. And you do have one of the natives allied, so you eventually will get some Magyar Hussars.
Yeah, I've gone ahead and picked up, I believe they're the Habsburg natives here for mounted infantry. Mounted infantry are basically going to counter everything Germany has in H2 except for Uhlan. So they're going to be really strong in this game.
Yep. Yeah, they are ranged heavy cavalry, if I remember correctly. And so they will do bonus damage versus the... Well, they do bonus damage versus all infantry, and they won't take any bonus damage from the crossbowmen.
Yeah, they are tagged as heavy cav, but they are basically a Lancer type unit that has range. 14 times 2 at range is better than basically anything he's going to be able to throw at me. And they're the same speed as Uhlan, so I can pick and choose my battles with these mounted infantry as long as I'm on top of microing them well.
Yep. Got a good number of Uhlans here, which will cause some issues, especially for the villagers. But you do have a war hut here. Team runners do manage to gauge on top of those crossbowmen, mounted infantry. Really need to hit those pikemen, but it won't be a bad thing if they hit crossbowmen. One of the villagers will go down there. More chimney runners on the build queue here. The concert house is causing some pathing issues. Gunman is using knife instead of gun, which is a bit of a problem. After all, that's his namesake, Gunman. Most Uhlans are down, but still a good number of them on the field. The mounted infantry, while they don't have any damage negatives against cavalry, they don't have great base damage. Mirrors deployed on the field, able to engage the crossbowmen at close range.
Yeah, I actually don't really know how he cleaned up most of my army that well here. Everything I had pretty much countered him. I guess I just didn't micro it the best, but regardless, I still have all these mounted infantry, and they're going to do work against these crossbow.
And they're starting to get vetted up. Do you remember what they get from promotions?
I believe they get range, which is kind of insane, and damage.
Yep. I can see at least 15 range. Don't know about the damage. Wait, can just compare the two. Actually, they get speed. They get range and speed, looks like. So the max out veterans ones can move at 7.
Which is actually not the max speed that they could get, since it has 10% land military movement speed card in H3. So they could probably go up to like 7.7 even with that card as well.
You just brought in Machu Pikachu. Get your stronghold up and going. That should be able to provide some excellent defense against this force.
Yeah, you know, electric rats are pretty dangerous. You never know what they're gonna bring out.
Yeah, like a bunch of arrows. Either way, it is taking a bit of damage there. Construction's almost complete, but it's probably going to be at half health. Now it's fully built. The mounted infantry can do some great damage. Looks like you're hitting the Dolphin soldiers, the heavy melee infantry first. And you also garrison the Bolas warriors that increase the arrow count.
Yeah, with those units inside the fort here, it's just gonna do work.
And a crossbowman can't do much versus these mounted infantry, doing what, 40% less damage?
Yeah, honestly, I think it actually would have been better for me to just put these mounted infantry here into melee, because they still do have very high damage in melee, and crossbows are even less effective versus them in melee versus at range, so...
Yep, let's see, the melee attack is 9, so it is technically an 18 damage in comparison. And crossbowmen, don't remember, but it's like less than half.
They actually have a higher multiplier in melee than in range, so it's 27 damage instead of 18.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
it's such a weird unit. It's so weird.
Well, what do you expect from the Habsburgs? They are known for funny faces, and these are some funny-looking cavalry.
Yeah, and then the infantry native from the Habsburg that you unlock in Age 3 isn't half bad either. They're very similar to Nizam from what I remember. I actually don't remember if I ended up making them this game or not.
Tactical Austrian Musketeers. There's just so many different units, I just don't know all the natives top of my head, honestly. Also, up here is the House of Bourbon. Royal Musketeers, Veteran Dragoons, and Royal Horsemen. Pikemen push way forward, gotta keep that mounted infantry in the back. You do have some Bolas warriors, which are an anti-cavalry tool. Couple Chimney runners do manage to push forward, hit those crossbowmen. We've got the veteran mounted infantry getting some good damage. They're getting very well vetted. As they get more range, it's harder to deal with them because they'll stay in the back line. Crossbowmen just getting ripped apart. More pikemen here, which are technically the counter to the mounted infantry, but the mounted infantry are technically the counter to them.
Yeah, it's really, I think, a very unintuitive unit to try and counter in H2 because you see cavs, so you think, you know, pikemen or, you know, and they're a ranged cav too, so you want to think like crossbowmen even. But really, the counter to them in H2, I think you've got to make hand cav. Because they are going to do terrible in hand combat versus anything that isn't infantry, so you've got to make hand cav, and you can't even make dragoons against them, because if you didn't know, these guys can dismount and become skirmishers, which are then going to counter dragoons, so kind of a very unintuitive unit, both to use and to fight against.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, maybe musketeers, but of course get the damage multiplier in return, and they're roughly cost-effective against musketeers. The more I look into it, like 160 resources opposed to 100. They offer more health. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, they're intuitive, and most civilizations don't have an H2 light cavalry, in which Germans definitely do not. Which he just got to Castle Age, or Fortress Age.
Yeah, and the other thing about this matchup too is Germany is light cav. The war wagon is a very slow light cav unit, and these mounted infantry you get quite quick once you promote them, and then even once that land bridges card comes in for Inca, so they're really very strong. I actually don't have it in this deck, ironically, but they're a very strong unit in this matchup for Inca.
And also the German player has, let's see, semi-benign population, still has villages scored away over here. Economy is only going to be partially hit, fighting around the town center. Of course, going for skirmishers, which will not be used for mounted infantry, nor the chimney runners, so the skirmishers are going to be a horrible choice overall. Yeah, skirmishers are the exact wrong choice to deploy.
Yeah, I was talking with Outlaw, I believe, after the series, and I don't think he knew what these mounted infantry were at the time.
Yep. I mean, after all, there's hardly any heavy range cavalry in the game, so when you fight against one, you don't realize it. Those Southland soldiers did some good work.
Yeah, I think the mounted infantry are the only ones of their kind, to my knowledge, anyway.
There's the Quills Balash, that's another heavy range cav, and mercenaries such as the mounted riflemen are heavy range cav.
Ah, okay. So there's only like what 3 units of that whole type in the game.
I think I looked it up. There's, I think, 10 or 12. Not many. Most of them native and mercenary.
Yeah, honestly, the amount of game knowledge you need to play this game at a high level is insane. I have probably 4,000 hours in this game, and I still don't even know everything that there is to know.
Oh, you need a lot of game knowledge to play this at low level as well. Got around skirmishers. They will be useful against the plumed spearmen, which are primarily here probably for extra torch damage.
Yeah, I mean, I knew my comp is strong with spearmen and mounted infantry, so I just needed that extra siege, and I needed the anti-cav because I knew that was the only thing that was going to be able to wipe my mounted infantry if I played well, and outlaw calling it here.
Yep. Let me just go ahead and update the scoreboards.
View post game stats just for chat's
Yep.
chat's
Any
enjoyment.
any tab you like to see?
Just show like resources, military, and then look at the timelines for like villager count and resources and stuff like that. Just kind of like the general stuff. People probably be interested in seeing it potentially.
Yep. Let's see. Timeline, villagers. To see here, you've maintained a good villager count start. Looks like you started out with the game with 1 extra villager. Ah, the settler wagons don't count as ×2 on this graph, probably. So this
Yeah,
may
if
be
you look at villager pop, that will be more accurate.
ah. Well, okay, he starts off with +1 then. But yeah, I think I wasn't paying attention to how many fishing boats he deployed in the field. He may not gone heavy in fishing boats.
No, I don't think he made any water at all this game, from what I remember.
He was being aggressive in Age 2. I think he was trying to close it out,
Mhm.
hence why he wasn't really focusing on that, while you got that early eco going.
Yeah, and if you look back on the map, I think I have like 10
Oops,
or 15 fishing boats at the end of the game.
that was the wrong button. My bad.
All good. All good.
I'm so used to some buttons top left like, go back. Like browsers. There we go. Let's go ahead and get
Update the
started.
score. Or is the score up to date? This is game
Yeah.
3, right?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
1-1. And here we are with game number 3. Small on the top side as the red Russians. We have OutlawElite. Small on the south side as the blue Aztecs. We have Oreos. So what's your opinion on this matchup?
This is just a slaughterfest in H2, in my opinion. Both of these civs have very strong colonial age aggression, and it really just comes down to who executes their build better and who micros better. So
Yep. So I'm
typically
guessing
this is going to play out probably the whole game in H2.
let me guess, spoilers. I'm guessing ×2 Slinger card for the Aztecs, and probably the 13 Strelak card for the Russians, if I remember the decks right. Now, the deck suggests potentially a mix of possibly going for Fast Fortress or for military aggression in Age 2. Got the Strelats and the Cossacks. Boyars probably going for the Wood Trickle, on a word I can't really pronounce all too well, like most words.
I struggle with it too if I say it really fast, but I believe it is pronounced distributism. But chat will probably roast me for that pronunciation.
I butcher every single name possible. Because if we were to read like the Russian explorer name, Vovedzi, I butchered that so well it could be put on somebody's plate.
Yeah. One thing I did want to kind of call out here is Horn is a very interesting map. So you spawn with the catamaran, and I believe we missed it, but you can actually use the catamaran to pick up land treasures on this map as well, because he has 22 range, and he does like 200 damage to treasure
Yeah.
guards. So I think if we watch here, I might be about to pick up or using the attack crocodiles. Maybe not.
You just took out
Um,
a shark.
yeah, I don't think Outlaw Elite remembered that a catamaran spawns on this map, because I believe it automatically goes to fish if you don't task it to do anything. So
Oh, so it's a caravel variant. Yeah, it's a also classified as fishing boat. Got it.
yeah, yeah. So I end up picking up like all the sea treasures, which is pretty insane. If you go back and look at the chat log, I think I got like over 200 resources just off of the sea treasures alone. So do not forget your catamaran.
Yep. The bandit catamaran named the bandit catamaran. Sorry, I always like to make that joke where I call the ships by their names, and well, it's the same name. Though in this situation, since you've taken some damage, his catamaran can defeat yours in 1v1 combat. So he could deny you its fishing income, but looks like he's not paying close enough attention.
Yeah, the fishing income is pretty small, honestly. I mean, I'm fine at this point with trading all these treasures for losing the catamaran. If I do lose the catamaran, which I don't remember if I end up losing it or not throughout this game, but, 55 wood here. I know I got like 60 food or a treasure or two ago, so.
Sorry. I saw the conflict there, like, oh, do you already age up with the slingers?
Nope. All good. I do think I end up picking up this explorer, making sure I let my treasure guards get the last hit so I get the XP bonus from the Aztec explorer.
Yep. Out of curiosity, for me, whenever I play Aztecs, it's my opinion that you should rarely ever convert the treasure guardians as the Aztecs, because I put a lot of value in the ×2 experience. What's your opinion? Do you want to try to convert, or do you actually try to go for a mix of converting and killing the treasure guardians?
I usually convert, just unless it's like a pikeman or something, just because I do value having more treasure guardians, so you can pick up more treasures. But especially like that big one, I think that's like a pirate or something I converted, is gonna help me pick up a lot more treasures than just my Eagle Scout and Explorer. So.
Yep. The Colonial Swashbuckler, oh, I butchered that, has 1 attack speed, so it has really high attack speed. And I can see you killing off some of these local doggos to steal their coins, so the pups no longer have inheritance.
Chat is saying that this is very Aztec favored, and that Aztec is too cost effective, which I'm not sure if the problem with Aztec is necessarily the cost effectiveness, more so that they just get 38 units in your base at like 630, which is really hard to hold for a lot of civs.
Yep. Slingers are a very good unit for a archaic light infantry. I think the biggest reason why skirmishers feel like they perform so well is, compared to longbowmen, they have a very little wind-up time and very fast projectile speed, so they get their damage going immediately, compared to, say, longbowmen. So that's just a theory I have at the moment.
Yeah, and Russia aging up really late, 515 age up. I'm using my swashbuckler here to scout, and I see that he hasn't even gotten his blockhouse up yet. So I was going to go for like a timing push here with like 15 Coyote, the Mayan allies, the Slingers, the Jaguars, but I see that he doesn't have his blockhouse up yet at all, so I just decided to go in with whatever I've got at the moment.
Because he's just easy pickings. The blockhouse is going to go down, and that's going to be game. Yep, I think, yeah, against Russian civ, like, the Aztecs are generally known for Russian, as opposed to Russians. Stupid joke. You got to age up perhaps quicker than you normally do, because you have to have a decent defense ready to go.
Yeah, I think he ended up aging up on 17 villas. We can go ahead and check the post-game graph to confirm, or maybe he didn't and he just mismicroed or something like that. But yeah, 17 vil age up. cannot afford to age up on 17 Vills versus Aztec. I don't think they're going to be in your base, in your face, way too quickly.
Yep, and
And
not to mention all those sea treasures to fuel your early economy as well.
yeah, I I was wondering when I was doing the game, like, why is this build so clean? Because I normally don't have that many resources. Then I was watching it back, and I was like, oh, I got all the sea treasures, which is big. So uh, I do think Outlaw told me that he wasn't too familiar with Russia after the game, so that could explain a lot.
Yep, let's go ahead and go on the next game. I'll just update the score screen. And let's go ahead. And here. Wait.
Wrong game.
Oh, whoops. Like. Oh yeah, we're already on game 4. I forgot how fast that game was. That's my bad.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know why. Have you ever just respawned back to the units saying something?
Once or twice. Mostly out of rage.
Oh, either way, spawn on the left side, we as the red USA, we have Outlaw Elite. Spawn on the right side as the blue US of A, we have Oreos. So, we do have a mirror matchup, which US has a lot of different play styles. So this could not necessarily be a mirror matchup per se. Usually I'm not a big fan of mirror matchups, they tend to be a little bit dull, but luckily in Age of Empires 3, they put a lot of bit more variation in build orders, thanks to the decks. One thing that's great about Age of Empires 3 is compared to most other RTSs, a lot more variety.
Orders?
Yeah, I agree. Almost to a detrimental point, though, because there's, like I was saying earlier, there's just so much to know. Even somebody who's been playing this game for 10, 11 years now, like I have, with thousands of hours, doesn't even know everything that there is to know. So
Yes.
there's a lot.
Yeah, but do I have one shipment? Let's see. I'm looking at the blue US player because it's gonna be hard to figure out which deck is which. The ham deck. Even though beef is better than ham. Capitalism, Dutch immigrants, so it looks like a lot of gold income. Got the Lee's Legions, so early carbon cavalry is on the menu. Along with the ham. Sharpshooters, yeah, it looks like just carbon cavalry deck with some other various items to support it. Sharpshooter, oh, light cavalry, light infantry, Gurmscoon, US edition. Oh, wait, is that? Yeah, that's a different deck. Or no, that's the same deck or different deck?
It's different. It's
Slight-
got 5 regulars in there instead of the carbine cav in Age 2.
Yep,
And he's got 54th Massachusetts.
Sorry, at first I did like, oh wait, is that the same deck? Same premise, but slightly different.
Yeah, you can tell by his deck that he's probably looking to go for more of a regular play type of FF, which is something that you see a lot of US players do as well. You either usually see a carbine cav sharpshooter age or a regular Gatling.
Looks like red will get the treasure. Yep. And shoot in the back for that. I noticed as well you used your sharpshooter attack on the beast, which is a more powerful wolf.
Yep, gotta get the most powerful ones down. Did I scout that food treasure in the middle yet or no? I
In
don't
the
think
middle?
I did.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
if you turn on Fog of War.
Oh. Let's see. It doesn't appear to be. Yeah, the food treasure in the center has 80 food. Ordered cheese wheels.
I actually did a really bad job scouting around my base this game. I don't know if you saw that, but I had a villager going forward because I thought that sometimes you get a front hunt is in front of your base on this map, but it looks like both my hunts spawned to the south of my base. So
Yep.
that's why that Ville is going forward, because I thought that there's a front hunt, but I guess there's not.
Yep, the deer are located there. And notice as well, you're, of course, corralling, pushing the hunts to your town center. And we've got the Dutch immigrants from the red US player.
Yeah, and this is kind of the second deviation we've seen here in terms of build orders. First one being that Red decided to go for a early TP in H1 instead of just waiting to get in transition like I did, and then he is getting Dutch immigrants as well.
Wants to get that passive gold income as quickly as possible. And he has a... Looking at red, he has a shipment available. He's still aging up to Rhode Island. While you ship to, was that Virginia?
Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yep.
I did scout that bank age up, so at this point I was thinking that I knew his FF was going to be slower than mine, so I knew that I was going to be able to get my blockhouses more forward, and I was going to be able to exert pressure on his TP later on.
Got your meeting house on the field. I always forget Rhode Island. Rarely ever see this one used. Grants yearly access to steam power, so you may be eyeing for some earlier trade. Also, docks may construct steamer and ironclads won't age you earlier, so you may be eyeing for some naval bombardment, perhaps not. And the other one is textile mill, wood or food rebate for your civilian production.
I believe it also makes them cheaper going forward, doesn't it? Or do they change it? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it removes a handful of costs, and I believe as well the cost is equal to the rebate, so you don't have to go for this immediately. You can wait it out and still get the same value. I could be mistaken though. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it scales.
Has
it
48
does.
food. He has how many villagers? 16. 16 times 30 is a number. Yeah, looks like it's you can delay it.
He's actually going for Hamiltonian economics here as well, which is interesting. For those who don't know, that's just the market card. It gives you all your market text for free and refunds any market text that you have bought already.
It's a pretty nice card. I think the Aztecs get something similar in Age 3, but only for their non-industrial plantation and farm research. We do have now the state capital being pulled in the field. And we do have now New Hampshire being researched by red. Blue is going for Kentucky.
Revnak saying in chat that he likes USA mirrors. I don't know how you like USA mirrors. I personally hate their guts. This is the second USA mirror that I've had to play in a tournament. For some reason, everybody seems to like picking USA at the same time I do, so I just hate playing mirrors in general, honestly.
Yep. That's part of me whenever I play mirror matchup on any RTS, is like, oh come on, did you play me better? Yeah.
I'm ready.
Oh, either way, training posted on the siege. Got the inspiring flag. 12 siege damage is not great. It'll take a bit of time to clean that up. And there are the blockhouses. Going for rolling artillery. This is blue, you. Red is still aging up and going for, of course, the free research. And also bringing the Springfield arm to get that research going. Handful of sharpshooters to provide also lackluster torch damage.
Yeah, Outlaw plays a very kind of greedy build here, going for a Hamiltonian economics, Dutch immigrants, and Springfield Armory all in Age 2 is a lot. But like I was saying earlier, I did scout the bank, so I knew that I was going to have a little bit more early tempo than him. That's why I'm choosing to ship rolling artillery next instead of something more greedy like 1,000 wood. because I know that he's going to be scaling a little bit better into age 3, so I just wanted to kind of put the pressure on early and take advantage of my faster tempo.
Yep. And call his economic
What
gains
is
with
your command?
superior firepower. Got a round of carbon cavalry and
ready.
regulars. Of course, blockhouses do provide not only a forward shipment point, but also access to barracks. Can also bring in the Minutemen to help supplement a force to get a small force going. Sharpshooters will rip apart this entire formation, so the sharpshooters right now are a very excellent choice. Able to get some good damage there. More sharpshooters on the build queue. And some of these villagers being picked off as well. And with his economic build, he really can't let these villagers go down because he needs that higher economic growth. That's his whole build. A couple more carbine cavalry pull on the field. Regulars getting ripped apart, as well as the carbine cavalry. And here comes the Gatling guns. They'll have trouble versus the carbine cavalry, but they rip apart the regulars, and now the militia will get ripped apart as well. And red does back of the game. Nice, quick game there. He went way too greedy there. Please give me a moment to update the scorecard.
Yeah, I agree. I think in mirrors, it's really hard to go greedy and not just lose the game outright. He might have been able to pull off just Dutch immigrants, but going for Dutch immigrants, Hamiltonian, and Springfield Armory was asking, I think, a little bit too much. But anyway, GG's. So that was game 4. This is now game 5. So there is a civ reset. You can play any civs that you have played again. And we see Inca Germany is the matchup for game 5.
Sounds good. And let's go and get started. And on bottom right side, we of course got the blue Incans Oreos. And red top left side, the red German Outlaw Elite. Does me claim an early violin. It's not the smallest violin in the world, but he can still play it. And when it comes to natives and map, you also have the very important native cows. Cows are awesome. And this plateau has, what, 5 cows you can claim? If you get all of them, you could eye for an age up that involves a farm to get them fattened up. Or a livestock pen.
Yeah, this map does spawn 5 cows. They seem to spawn in the same spot like every time, so you can see I'm basically running straight to at least the first 2. I do like just going straight up and getting these cows for Inca. You can get a nice earlier age up by killing some of these, kind of propel you forward.
Yep. I forget. The Incans. I know the Aztecs has an age up can give you 1 free farm, Travis. The Incans, do they have that as well?
They have a 2 builder Travoy age up, so you can use that to build any economic building. So you can build tambos with it, you can build farms, houses, whatever you'd like.
Have you ever thought about if you could get a good number of livestock to age up with one, with that age up politician or council member, and get the cow fattened up quicker?
I'm not sure on the viability of that, simply because you do have 2 other exceptional age up options with free woodcutting upgrades, both the age 1 and age 2 ones, and then you also have free priestesses as well. So both of those are very great options for Inca. I don't remember why I'm building a fire pit right now.
Maybe they let the llama work. Right
yeah,
now,
I think I got a wood treasure, so I'm just building it.
Get the llama to cause some drama in the plaza. Get a bit of extra resources going. I don't know why. I always call llamas drama llamas, just because, just being stupid.
Yeah.
And what better place to cause drama at the plaza?
Yeah, exactly. I just think that with Inca, you're already pretty susceptible to early pressure, and going for something greedy like a farm, maybe not maybe not the best idea, but you know, everything does depend on the matchup and what your opponent's doing. So in
You've
some cases, it might not be bad.
You went for a deck called Versus Mercenaries. Do you think you're going to be fighting large number of mercenaries in this fight?
I always try and play it safe. I believe I get my first card in before Germany in this game and every game basically. So I can't scout his deck before he picks a deck. And Germany does have very good mercenary play, so I don't want to get caught with my proverbial pants down. And so I chose to pick a safe deck. Really, the only difference between this deck and my standard land deck is that I do have the Ayamara support in H2, which is 7 Chasqui, and it buffs their hand attack.
Yep. I suppose I never really thought about it, but yeah, the Germans' more experience requirement per shipment does mean that they keep their deck hidden for a little bit longer. I suppose the same thing can technically be with the Italians, who are like 5% more expensive shipments, and the inverse is probably true with the Spanish, which are like 15% less shipments. I forget.
Yeah, I don't really know what the numbers are exactly, but I do know Germany gets that first shipment pretty slow, but they do get a 4 villager shipment in age 1 essentially with 2 settler wagons, so I think it kind of makes up for it in itself.
Yep. The reason why their shipments are way more expensive because of those 2 free Ulans, which I've heard. Looking in the forums, people are. Part of people wish that they can have access to regular shipments without needing the +2 Ulans, because it tends to force you down a certain path when it comes to army composition, since you generally want to get some manner of integration with Ulans.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty good civ bonus. I mean, you're basically turning, in terms of resource value, you're turning your age 2 shipments into age 3 shipments, and your age 3 shipments into age 4 shipments, just in terms of raw resource value, right? So if you think of like a age 3 shipment as 1,000 resources, because that's what your crate shipments are.
Yep.
Your age 2 shipments for Germany are 700 plus 150, 150, which is 1,000. So pretty good civ bonus.
True. But of course, like, they are slightly more expensive. Let's see. Looks like a Contra Boom you're going for right now.
Yeah, so I think the way this matchup should typically play out is both civs going for kind of semi-FF builds, where Germany's probably going to go for like a 7 Ulan semi, or whatever you want to call it, making 5 Ulans and then going up. Inca's going to go for a full Cancha boom with Chincha Brewing, and then go up themselves. Which I think does put Inca quite an advantageous position with full eco behind their fortress age.
Yep. And you also grab the mill. Gotta get an extra, well, Contra House's worth of food income going. And you can always claim with the mill up north as well. Got the 2 free Ulans push way forward.
Yeah, one other thing to note about this matchup as well is that a forward tower rush from Germany can be quite devastating as well for Inca. You definitely got to be aware of that. It doesn't look like he's going to go for that this game, as it does look like his macro is showing that he's going to go for a age-free play here, but certainly something that you've got to be aware of is Inca.
Yep. He almost has enough coin to age on up. He has enough food. You, on the other hand, let's see, a bit far away on the coin. So you may have the coin on the ground. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I did.
So the German player is aging up quicker, going for the Exile Prince.
Yeah, one thing that is interesting that I didn't notice when I was playing this game is that he's hunting very far forward. Instead of choosing to use hunts that are close to his base to kind of help with less villager walking time to get some faster age times up, he is hunting like right there in the middle of the map, which I did find quite interesting.
He also has two hunts actually right here. It's actually, you can see by the two different groups of fauna. I'm pretty sure that's two different groups of hunts right there. Though I could be mistaken.
Yeah, that does look like two separate hunts. They've just kind of
Escape me a bit.
conglomerated into one.
Yep. They do, of course, travel in herds. And, yep.
Yeah, you'll see both of us basically got up at about the same time. But if you look at economies, he's got 23 plus 5, I think, so 28 Ville economy. I'm on 31 plus 12 Kancha houses with Chincha Brewing. So
And Kancha houses are basically one extra villager.
yeah, so it's I think a pretty scary position for him to be in here. He's just gonna have to rely on his shipments to kind of carry him through and hope that he can win and do some damage that way before his steam runs.
He's starting to pile skirmishers. Let's take a look at armies. The Chasqui, or however you pronounce that, or Shock Infantry Scout, while the regular team unit is also on the field, so you do have quite a bit of Shock Infantry. Skirmishers will not like to see that. Only handful of Plume Spearmen, which may have been for your big button.
Yeah, I believe it was. I always like to kind of pop that big button early and get them out on the field. I think I did that right before I went up as well, just in case he had a decent massive Ulan that he's going to try and raid with, but that of course didn't end up happening.
Yep, I know for the Aztecs, I play Aztecs more often than I play the Incans. I do love the Jaguar Prowl Knight big button, and I usually pop that immediately to go along with any sort of rush. But yeah. Got a round of Chimi Runners, 8 of them, potentially 10. Shin of Ulans being pulled in the field, as well as more skirmishers. And now we do have a handful of War Wagons, which will be the counter to the Chimi Runner. This scout will push forward and hit a villager. Right now, the German army, let's see, has 91 population in the field for 68. So this German player has more military units on the field, probably relying heavily on those shipments to bring a higher bulk of units. Has an army of 35, good number of higher population units versus 31. So it looks like the German army is of larger number. War wagons will report those Chimi Runners, and the Ulans and Chimi Runners will be on somewhat equal footing. Yeah, right now the German army seems pretty scary.
Yeah, he's gone for, I believe, back-to-back military shipments in age free, and I believe I sent 5 priestess like first guard age free, which is a lot more of an economical shipment here. So.
Yep. Plume Spearman push way forward. The hitting the skirmish was not great. Jungle Bowmen are hitting the War Wagon, which is good. The Chimi Runners and the Ulans are engaged in glorious combat. And looks like the Incan army is starting to get disintegrated. Got more reinforced skirmishers, so just spamming out a round of Plume Spearmen won't exactly be a perfect counter. Got more Chimi Runners here, as well as a handful of Plume Spearmen. A couple idle villagers here. We also got a shipment of Jungle Bowmen, 9 of them. Got a round of War Wagons, pull them out. Chimi Runners push forward, got a good number of Plume Spearmen, and Chimi Runners are drawing the fire from the skirmishers, and he's not really retargeting to the Plume Spearmen, which is a bit of a problem. So if the skirmishers go out, then those Plume Spearmen have free reign over everything else. And they now have free reign of everything else. And the villagers here may want to migrate out of there. And definitely not follow this Ibex past the army. Plume Spearmen are getting whittled down pretty quickly. After all, these units don't do less damage versus these units. Just take more damage. Red's army is quite battered. Maybe not a good idea to advance since reinforcements are going to be very prevalent. Red's reinforcements are a little bit lacking as well.
Auftrag.
Yeah, so at this point, Red's kind of taken a little bit better trades, but I've managed to whittle down kind of his big masses from his big shipments, and you can really see the economic difference here in terms of military remass ability, right? So he's wiped my army twice here without taking full losses himself, but each time I'm just able to remass and kind of just throw more crap at the wall and
Yep.
you know, get right back in it.
And right now,
Not
Jungle
giving him a
Bowman
chance
seemed
to breathe.
pretty effective since he now has a round of Oolongs here. And the Jungle Bowman will fight skirmishers on relatively equal footing and will be very effective versus the War Wagons. Bloom Spear could be brought back a little bit, just keep them behind the Jungle Bowman, only push them forward as the Oolongs push forward.
You actually, I think, want to keep the Plume Spearman forward in this case. I do have the Bolas Warriors in the back, which are very effective anti-cav.
Oh yeah,
And the Plume Spearmen are going to pretty much annihilate anything that they touch in the German composition right now. So just want to keep those forward and keep them cooking.
yep. Skirmishers do have less melee damage than they have range damage, or DPS I should say. And not to mention the Plume Spearman, of course, has melee resistance, so I guess they would be decent in melee combat. Not perfect counter, but anything to slow down your opponent could be very useful as well. But now, Bolus Warriors trying to hit those skirmishers, bit of a problem. Oolongs getting some good hits on the Jungle Bowman. Shimmy Runners engaging the villagers as well as Oolongs. And a handful of remaining Shimmy Runners going to be tying up those skirmishers in melee. Only one Shimmy Runner remains, as the Plume Spearmen are stabbing away against the skirmishers. And looks like Red does back of the game. And that is the end of the series, where you take a nice 4-1 victory.
Yeah, GG's. Just want to shout out Outlaw. You played really well, and yeah, that is it for that series.
Because right now, an economic, all resources gathered. Yep, right. It looks like you guys were neck and neck until at this point in. Oh, at this point, and then you take a nice little lead, and that lead sort of stayed, and then just start growing out the end. Nope.
Yeah, I think that's probably about the time that Chinship Brewing hit, and then 700 coin as well. So also transitioning villas off of wood. If you look at the wood total, it'll probably match up pretty close to that. Yeah, it does. We all know wood gathering is pretty slow comparatively. So even if you have like a similar villager count, economically you'll be quote unquote behind in the total resource graph.
Yep. So yeah, and it looks like you were collecting a lot more wood, and so yeah. So this, I'm not sure if this does. It doesn't do justice with a resource graph. It's hard to tell some of the stuff by the graphs. By the way, let's see. Of course, the villager population.
Yeah, I don't know, Revnak. Inca might need more nerfs. It did go 2-0 in this series so far, so
Or that
I
was
don't
just,
know.
or that was just against Germany both times. So maybe Germany just has a bad matchup against Incans.
I think it is a pretty favorable matchup for Inca, personally. Revnak might disagree, but I don't know. I think Pike Chimu does extremely well against Ulan Skirm, which is Germany's kind of go-to. And then you just mix your Jungle Bowman in as needed when you see War Wagons and just smash everything in.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and wrap everything up. Everyone, let's see how to do the outro.
We could cast one more game if you want. There is a couple games in the Discord that we could cast if you'd like.
We can do that. I'm not sure if Revnik would allow us, since it's more meant for the tournament stuff. But let's see.
I think he's fine with it. He sent me a message later, or earlier with potential record game for us. Here, I'll link it to you in Discord.
If you don't mind. Which cast hop matches, got it. Oh. The Florida games, open save games.
Grunk is saying that Inca FF and FI looking good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Grunkus.
Go ahead and player score stuff, since that's no longer needed.
Grunkus, you can't be exposing everything I've been cooking in the kitchen, man.
See, it was. Oh, great. Which recorded game was it? I have a lot of replays stored up to cast.
You could try and rename it.
Go actually click organize.
It could be potentially the one that you that's dated today that you have selected on the game as well. I'm not sure how it would date it.
Yep, it is the recorded game space 3. Pull up the other stuff.
Yeah, this is the one we're looking for.
I had to minimize some stream stuff over here, and I'm trying to pull it back up to keep an eye on some stuff. There we go. And